Hey everybody, what's going on? This is a friendly MCI just coming at you. Oh, just kind of go over what we went over before. It's a little echoing here, but anyways, I want to go over some of the application things that I do here. So one of the first things that I taught this flight was linen exchange bets. And when you do linen exchange bets, first thing is they're not going to always get it. One step at a time. I have females, so normally females they get things faster, but not always the case. So this set of females was like, eh. But I allowed them to make mistakes. I allowed people to see how to do things the wrong way. So this is what I do. First of all, you have to, like I said in my last video, you have to establish where the wall locker side of the bed, the inspection side of the bed, the center aisle side of the bed, and the non-inspection side of the bed. The non-inspection side of the bed can be kind of confusing, but just don't use the non-inspection side of the bed for dust cover bed. It only works for linen exchange beds. When we had double bunk configuration, the non-inspection side of the bed was where you put the shoes for the person that slept on the top bunk. So the non-inspection side of the bed is kind of like, it's more confusing now than ever before. So just the three sides that they need to know. Wall locker, center aisle, inspection side of the bed. I show them how to drape something evenly over the bed. So when I'm doing the blanket, right, I'm not even worried about the mattress cover right now. I'm worried about the blanket and the folding because that takes the most finesse. And it also takes the most patience. So I show them what it looks like. And my analogy is this. If I was a really tall person and I don't like it when my feet are exposed to the cold air, I like my feet covered. And I like the blanket pulled all the way up to my neck so I'm nice and warm. That'll allow me to be comfortable. Now, if not, then I might have to turn that blanket so it's a long ways. And I want you to think about that. The blanket needs to be as long as possible where it's covering like 98% of the head and the foot at the same time. We have these wool blankets that if they're rushing, they won't care and they'll start folding, and at the very end the product will not look right, and I'll tell you what that's going to look like later on. So what I do is I show them the right way and then I show them the wrong way. I find this to be very, very helpful because when you show them the wrong way, now they know what it looks like. So if they're ever in a rush, they're going to go, wait a minute, oh, I need to turn this 90 degrees. So keep that in mind that when a trainee does make a mistake, make it a learning moment. Don't make it an embarrassing moment. Make it a learning moment. Say, hey, look, I'm glad you made this mistake because other people need to see this. So the first blanket's on, and I say, everybody just drape it evenly on bed, go. And there's going to be like one or two beds. They're not going to be draped evenly. And say, hey, look, are you covering 98% of the bed from the head to the foot? Don't worry about the sides of the bed. No, turn it. You see how much more? Calm down. Because when you're successful, I'm successful. And we're a team. I'm not better than you. And move on. You can do that if you want to. I'm not looking for buy-in. I'm looking for being real. So after that, then I use the acronym WIC. You start where whatever it starts with. So WIC stands for wall locker. So you stand on the wall locker and you fold in half to the other side. Now, in the lesson plan, it doesn't say it has to be perfectly even. Oh, yeah, if you fold in half, it's going to be even or whatever like that. That's not what it says. It didn't say fold in half so the edges are even. And this is what I would like y'all to do. Hold them to the standard, because when you do a DIPS evaluation, a dormitory inspection procedures evaluation, you want to make sure you can use the lesson plan to your advantage. So it doesn't say fold in half so that the edges are even. It just says just fold in half. And some of these blankets are impossible because they're wavy like this, because they've been used for like 50 years. So just keep that in mind. Get it as even as possible so that it's easier to fold. So they'll drape it over. So one of the techniques that I use is that when they fold it from the wall locker to the center aisle, the single fold should be facing the wall locker. So I don't rush this. I go, okay, good. And I give them all the tips immediately because I want them to be successful because I need my dorm to be set up. I said my dorm. That's right. Yeah, they sleep in it. They borrowing everything. I need to show my leadership that my dorm is ready to go. It's show up and show out. That's what I do. So I say, good, good, good. And then it also helps you when you have to apply this for a formal evaluation. So these are just tips and tricks on how you can make this a little bit more efficient. So you check the single fold, make sure it faces the wall locker. You're taking your time and you're telling them, hey, good job. Hey, pull it to the middle because it's going to make it easier for you to do the next fold. So fold it to the wall locker, kind of move it into the middle. You'll thank me later for it. Boom, 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 boom. Side P. It's instructor preference. Who cares? Now, the next fold. I. So we use W, wall locker. We start on the wall locker side and fold it in half. I. Inspection side of the bed. Inspection side of the bed is the number side of the bed, or if you're standing in the center aisle and you're looking at your bed, it's the right side. I don't even say that. Go to the number side of your bed. That's the inspection side. And all you're going to do is drag it to you and fold in half. I want you to understand that I tell them to do this by themselves. Why? Because if one person, if you're working together, one person don't know what they're doing, they're going to mess up the bed. And it's your responsibility to make sure that both people know how to do it. I would encourage you to use common sense. Culture and the way people always do it isn't always the best. I don't put two people on a bed at the same time unless I know they know what they're doing. So for like the first 4 weeks, they making their own bed. Here are the advantages really fast. If they have an appointment at 6 in the morning and they have to wake themselves up, they don't have to wake anybody else to make their bed. They know how to do it. Train everybody so when it's time to work together, it's efficient. Beds could be a lot better in BMT. Take my word for it. Wrinkles and blankets that are not flush should not live in your dorm. They have to be trained well, one step at a time. Oh, wingman concept. Wait till they're trained first individually so you can make that person better. Because do you want somebody working on your bed that don't know what they're doing? No. I would encourage you to take this wisdom. It takes humility to accept wisdom. It takes wisdom to listen to wisdom. Just take my word for it. Because my beds, I don't care what anybody tells me. Nobody's ever told me that my beds don't look the best in the squadron. Nobody. I out hustle everybody. Trust me. Off my soapbox. So the I stands for inspection side to non-inspection side. And I show them everything. Pull it to you, drape it over. That single fold that you just made should be facing the inspection side. Center it back on your bed, go. I don't give time limits. I just tell them to get to the wall locker side of the bed. When everybody's at the wall locker, they ready to go. And I'm giving them feedback. Always giving them feedback. Never ridiculing them. Feedback, feedback, feedback. Now, when they're done with that, this is the hardest part. The C. Center aisle to wall locker, but in thirds. So what I do is I cut this in 2 steps. I'll tell them to fold it directly to the center. Like to the center and stop. And what you'll see is when they attempt this, they'll try to do it from the wall locker to the center aisle again. And you have to be patient. And you got to say, hey, where's your center aisle side, trainee? You're on the wrong side. Come on. Center aisle's over here. Start here and fold directly in half and stop. Because the next fold, what you're going to do is you're going to take it and then fold it and finish it so it can be folded in thirds perfectly. And what I do is I'll put my finger right here at the very end and I'll all the way over so there's no gap in the blanket at all. When you fold it over, create that E fold. Money. And then they do it to both blankets. They stack it on top of each other, widest on the bottom. Now, when you're done folding it, if you go to the wall locker side of the bed, you see skinny, fat single folds. If they did it wrong, you'll see like a whole bunch of edges. What can I call it? Like, what do they say? It's like meatloaf. God bless. It's not brisket. It's another type of meat. But it just looks like a sandwich, and it's just layers of like sandwich meat. That means that they started, and instead of doing wick, they did kick. They started with the center aisle, folded it to the wall locker, then the special side and non-special side, and they did center aisle in thirds. And you won't be able to see it from the E-fold. You'll see it from the wall locker side of the bed. All right, so I got to wrap this up. So when you're done, I do something called Hulk Smash. You stack the blankets, widest on the bottom, get it all the way over. You know, make sure the mattress is grounded to the center aisle. Make sure the mattress is even on the bed frame. Make sure it's even with the edge of the mattress. Center aisle, inspection side, Hulk smash, push it. So this is what I tell them. I say push it down. And when you smash it down, you can see the edges of the E-fold that are not perfect. So I encourage you to tell them Hulk smash, verify it. And then pillow, or actually 341 center, pillow, practice beds. If you're doing practice beds, the sheets are going to be on top and the opener is facing the wall locker, but you're not going to believe anything I said because you're going to read the lesson plan to make sure that you know how to do it. So that was Linen Exchange bed. This is going to be a longer one because I got to show you how I do socks and t-shirts real quick. So what I do is we don't unroll socks for a clothing drawer. We just look at the outside and we move on. So what I do is I do something called a cheater fold. So the socks, the toe bed sticks out. So what I do is I'll tuck it in and then I'll roll it in between security trays. And I use the wingman concept because that's easy. So you take two security trays. The other person leans over and holds it down while the other person just rolls it in. So they'll roll the toe bed in, put the security trays in there, not too tight. You know, you want it to be, approximately the width of the sock, and they roll it. And when they're done rolling it, they pinch it down and they conform it over slowly so it keeps the tension on the sock so that it doesn't look like it has to conform to the sock. It can't be pulled too far over in order to be a folding demerit. And what it does is it makes both edges, and it's not even a requirement. It just looks good. It looks like a can of Campbell's soup, just flush. You don't even need it. But the second reason why I do it is because it's the same way I do the shirts. And the shirts have to be even on both sides. The shirt's the same way, and I give a story. I'll say down and to the right. They'll echo down and to the right. I'll say, hey, think of your significant other. You get in a fight, you fold away in half, and they run away. You buy them flowers, you buy something they like or whatever, and then you fold the sleeves in so they come back just a little bit. Don't worry, you're probably not going to understand this. It's just a story I tell. Make your own story up if you're going to be an MTI. It makes it a lot easier. They'll do a lot less folding demerits anyways. So they'll roll back the sleeve to the conformity of the shirt so the edges are even. It's like when you fold the sleeve back towards you, you're going to make sure that it just looks like a rectangle, perfect rectangle. Then you bring it back over, adjust the sleeve as necessary. Those three edges, you'll see like three folded edges. Make sure those are tweaked out. So normally what I do is I'll have clothespins in my utility closet, and I'll pass them out to hold the edges. If people are really good at rolling, they'll just pass it to them, and these people just start rolling. I don't care how they do it, as long as it looks good. But before I do that, I'll tell them to roll one and let me see it, and then basically I'll dissect it from there. I'll tell them what they need to do better or whatever the case is. Shirts, it takes about maybe an hour and a half to get about 20 people to really do it right. I tell them not to pull that tight, because if you pull tight, it shrinks the shirt. The shirt becomes very narrow. So I just tell them, hey, just a little tug. So people with beefy hands, they need to be holding the shirt so they can get that. They can put their fists in between the shirt, and that's it. And it works out beautifully. And then I tell them what the 6 o'clock position is. I wish it was a 7 o'clock position. It'll hold the shirt better. 6 o'clock position. Make sure that the collar of the shirt faces the rear of the drawer. Make sure the nice edges are to the left. The tweaked edges, the ones that are like really, really small, are to the right. It's snug with the towel. And these are little things that I teach them because I'm not asking them to figure it out on their own. This is why. It's basic training. I'm not asking them to critically think of something that they do not understand. I want them to get good habits, and leaders set their people up for success. And you will notice that when people walk your dorm, they're going to be like, man, your dorm looks really, really good. How did you do that? I just tell them a way of doing it, and they just do it. And I always tell my trainees, hey, look, you can do it the way you want. You come up with a better method, share it with me. But I've been doing this for a while, so I don't think there's a better method. I've tried a lot of different methods, but if you find one, let me know. The rest of the flight, why am I stuttering? Do it. So, in conclusion, don't limit trainees, thought process or whatever like that. They come up with a good process. It adds another weapon so you can use for your next flight. We did shirts. We did socks, and then we talked about linen exchange beds. Set them up for success, and you will have a great, great flight. Allow them to make mistakes, and reward them when they do such a great job because it makes you look good, and it sets them up to be leaders that when they become senior NCOs, chiefs, or officers in higher grades, they'll remember you and how you set them up for success. God bless. Take care. See you next time.